Good morning, fam. Hey, um, thank you for joining me here, truth seekers and justice fighters. Yesterday was a big day for me, having 2 half-hour videos. And a week ago, I finally had achieved the 1,000 subs. And then yesterday it was up to 1,500. So it took me about a month to get 1,000 and then about a week and a day to get another 500. So thank you guys. Thank you so much. I'm just thrilled. I'm thrilled that I am being authentic, I'm being me, and I'm getting such a positive response. So as you know, if you've been watching my videos, I try to get on here early. It is 7:40 on Tuesday, October 11th, and it's a lot earlier than normal. But and if you can let me know if you can hear me. Oh, I see dodging bullets. Morning, AZ. Good morning. Thank you. So, I try to come on when I have some things to say, but I don't want to be too polished. I just want to be me. And that way I feel like I'm relating to you and you're relating to me. And I also, like I mentioned yesterday, I feel like I am not going to put myself in a pressure cooker where I'm like, oh no, now everybody's expecting this, that, and the other. Because I do sometimes make promises and I should not do that. I should just let myself go at my own pace. One of my biggest things right now, and what I put in the title, Kate says, I just started watching your videos last night. I've seen 2 now. Love the history of Truckee and Grandpa. Glad you brought that up because, yeah, there's so much there, and I think it's very relevant. Grandpa is an amazing character, right? Extremely strong and independent. I believe he was also some type of competitive downhill skier, but I'm sure everybody that lives there is basically, right? Like if you don't do the double black diamond, you're a nobody. I'm a nobody when I'm up there. I mean, I just seriously have fun on the green triangles. I think that's what they are. The intermediate slopes. And for me, that's a double black diamond. I mean, I have no desire to be on a steep hill with rocks at the top of the mountain. I understand the appeal, and my husband does that, and he's amazing at it. But he grew up on skis, and I didn't, so that makes all the difference. But the reason I'm glad you brought that up is because one of my subscribers made a comment last week that Kate Cuneo's grandmother is has a history of being an Olympic skier or something like that. So I thought, wow, so that puts Kate Cuneo way up there in the Truckee royalty or the Lake Tahoe area royalty. And also, yesterday was the first time I described to people, if people don't know this, that on that mountaintop where the Donner Pass is on the same side as Truckee, that the rest of Lake Tahoe is on the other side. And the pass is not quite at the very top. I mean, it's pretty much the very top, but not the top where you could do like a 360 panoramic view. It's on the Donner Lake side. It's on the Truckee side. So therefore, the rest of Lake Tahoe does not see it. And it's not like looking down at the rest of Lake Tahoe. So it really does separate the two. And from what I've heard in the comments, it sounds like Lake Tahoe does not want to be associated with Truckee, or some people in Lake Tahoe say Truckee is not Tahoe. But when you live in San Francisco and you go skiing at Tahoe, Truckee is Tahoe. Dodging Bullet says Truckee is very rich and political town. I hope Kylie can get justice and all this, and they don't just say accident to keep the town's name clean. Yeah, they can't keep the town's name clean. That's, again, that ship has already sailed. The more natural, the better. Thank you, Kate. I love that. And now we know where Kylie got it. Oh, you mean just being an amazing individual? Yeah, I like that. Okay, so the news. Oh, and everything I say here is my opinion only, purely for the sake of conversation, hopefully education and entertainment, right? Um, the news with that videotape, right? The videotape that is from 2 months ago that all of a sudden was discovered or something, I don't know. First of all, why would it be leaked on YouTube? Give me a break. That would diminish the credibility immediately, right? That's like putting it on Inside Edition or something like that. You've basically just trashed your evidence. So, I think that's a good thing to think about, and go back to the tank top. Remember when that black tank top was first in the news, and it was in the news like right away. And right away, Sammy in her Tony Dodge interview said, "Oh no, that's not hers. It's been verified, and until you see something on our page, it's not verified." And we all bought it. I bought it. I knew that the one that Kylie had on was a spaghetti strap. So I'm wearing a black tank top this morning. And so I was thinking about it and had one of my little light bulb epiphany moments just like 20 minutes ago. So I decided to hop on early while it was fresh. So when I looked at that picture with my naked eye, it looked like it had straps more like this than a spaghetti strap. So when it was stated that it wasn't hers, I thought, well, of course not, right? What are the chances? And then it was a long time later. I think it was actually on Zav's show, to give Zav some credit, because right now I think a lot of us have kind of had it, and I don't want to trash talk anybody. I think people want to take the easy route sometimes, because fighting for justice is an uphill battle, right? Mrs. Kelly says, "How the heck was Sammy informed in that?" Right, right. She was like the all-knowing um, FBI Central, Police Central, Sheriff Central, Kid Central, Teen Central. I mean, she tried to make herself out to be the go-to. And right away, that put her on the map. What cracks me up about all this is like the Scooby-Doo ending, right? It's always the people that hire the Scooby-Doo team that are the villains every time. Same with Columbo. And I love Scooby-Doo. I love Columbo, but that's pretty accurate, especially with this. So going back to the tank top, when people were questioning, wait a second, that's not the strap, that kind of thick part in the upper left-hand corner of the photograph of the tank top wadded up on the gravel. That's not the strap. You see snaps there. That's the crotch of a G-string style bodysuit. And I'm not into G-strings myself. I don't find them comfortable, but I am not going to judge anybody who does. And yeah, they look nice because you don't have a panty line. But some people were saying that they could tell that Kylie's bodysuit was a G-string from the angle of the material that was showing on her hip in that photograph from the convenience store. And I believe that, when you're female, you're very tuned into these things, right? So people that know their G-strings were saying, well, that bodysuit of Kylie's was definitely a thong. I'm calling it a G-string, but it's a thong, right? So my point about the tank top bodysuit, and I fully believe that that very, very well could be her tank top spaghetti strap bodysuit in that photograph from, what was it, the 8th of August, that the woman walking her dog found it on the way to work? Or was she, I think she was walking her dog, and then she waited, she called 911, she waited, and this was between Prosser Lake and Boca, and she waited for 20 minutes and she had to go to work. But then she went to work, she came back a half an hour later, and it was gone. And she never heard anything. That's the story I've gotten. So I don't know if you guys have gotten other information, please share. Every time I watch that interview with Sammy, I feel more and more suspicious of her words. Yes, she completely gives herself away. The Scooby-Doo guy, right? Marion M. Yes, you too, been a while. Um, And Doug says, and Sammy's seen it and said, yeah, that's not hers. And yeah, I mean, she's so quick to act like she is all knowing, right? Which makes her suspicious right away. If you're looking for somebody, you keep an open mind and you're like, I wonder if, right? And you take a good look at that photograph, maybe even with a magnifying glass. I mean, here we're all looking at it on social media and it gets pixelated quickly. Um, and why would you want to discount some information that might be helpful? You'd hope that that information is going to lead you somewhere when you're grasping at straws and you have nothing, unless you're trying to hide something. And so anything that might be a lead, you're like, oh crap, put that in the garbage immediately, destroy it. So that tank top situation reminds me of this whole, we have a videotape from the top of Alder Hill fire cam that we've had for 2 months, and we're too sleepy to remember that we had it. Not even close. No way. I've said it a couple of times and I will say it again because yesterday I feel bad. I insulted some wildlife creatures. I said that if that were true, law enforcement in that area is a bunch of baboons, and that is seriously insulting to the baboons, right? I mean, if that is true, law enforcement is in that area covering this case is a huge waste of taxpayer dollars and absolute buffoons. So I'll just leave it there because I have other things I want to focus on. So discounting the bodysuit right away was also like discounting the alleged story. Somebody said that they saw a woman on the night of August 5th, 6th in Sacramento, topless, escaping from a silver CRV Honda, running away, and then getting pulled back in by people that were in the vehicle. Are you serious? And people wanted to say, oh, well, that wasn't Kylie, so toss that in the garbage too. That kills me. If it's not Kylie, we have somebody else in serious trouble, whether that's somebody who is having a mental health crisis or is on drugs or is being assaulted and being victimized. Whatever it is, holy crap, people. We cannot allow anybody to be in a situation like that and be ignored, in my opinion. So that's really, really serious. I want to read a couple of these. Let's see. Mike says, no way a crazy gal that can't believe this was a horrific accident had one and dropped it. Probably not even her size. LOL. I think you're being sarcastic. Right above that, Doug says, Sheriff Woohoo, which that's hilarious right there, is a Sasa. His history is horrible with children. It's documented, police harassment and obscene things, not gonna repeat. Yep, child stuff. Okay, so I've brought it up again and again, and still my affidavit video has less than 500 views, which I'm fine with that, but people need to read that affidavit or, listen to the video. It's extremely important, in my opinion. It really sets the stage for this whole Kylie case. So it was my 4th video ever made, so it might be hard to find depending on your device. You have to go way back. I started my channel about August 29th, and it was a week later. So if you're looking at a calendar, probably like September 6th. I know it was a Sunday when I did it. I think it was a Sunday anyway. And just look for it. Yesterday I thought, well, maybe I should re-record it and I can maybe do it better. It's just reading it word for word. I tried really hard not to interrupt myself. I think I did pretty good, but I had to interrupt myself a couple of times because it's just insanity, complete insanity. So I am going to stay focused on a couple of things that I wrote down here, and then I'm going to wrap this one up because here we already are at 8 minutes. I like to try to keep these short for you and me. They're fun, and I could go on and on. Like my first one was 50 minutes, and I think that was the longest one I've done. And that I was surprised how easy that was. Really, I've been surprised how easy it is for me to be putting content out, which I thought would be the biggest challenge, and that's not. My brain is constantly going. I'm constantly thinking of things like the tank top just this morning, and how that's very, very similar to this whole lake video, this whole fire cam video, that I think a lot of people are seeing what they want to see. They're seeing what they are told that they're seeing, and they're seeing what they're expecting to see. And I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I know everything, but I am often right. And I'm not afraid to be wrong. It's nice to be right, but you have to take that risk. We're all human. We all make mistakes. So, honestly, I think people that are believing the video are incorrect. And like I've said, if it is an actual video of that, then the law enforcement, all of them need to be fired. All of those first responders are completely useless if they didn't think of that and gain access to that immediately. So that's just a whole nother distraction, right? That whole freaking thing is a distraction to keep us off course, to try to get us off course, because obviously we're on course, in my opinion. So the fact that November 1st is sneaking up on us is getting some people really nervous, and they're trying to set the stage for, oh, see, look, okay, wrap it up with a bow, we're done. You heard it from Megan, and then you got to see it with your own naked eye 2 days later, a day later, and then we're coming out and telling you officially, yep, that's it. No, it ain't that easy. Are you kidding? Are you absolutely kidding? So Pam Schaefer Pitt says, I found it easy yesterday. I also found videos by Project Veritas undercover journalists asking Mr. Wu questions about his activity. Read the affidavit and then look for other videos on Wayne Wu. And remember, Wayne Wu has a son named Nate Wu, who graduated from a different high school. I think it's maybe 45 minutes away, just this last graduation season. And he was at the party along with, it sounds like, at least 5 other Nates. We've got the Nate Kabakunya that was arrested on August 10th for the death of the 15-year-old that he also had lewd and lascivious acts with, who's also, he is a friend of Sammy's, the Nate Kubakanya, if I'm saying that right. I'm probably not. Then we have the Nate Hambrick that allegedly Kylie was dating and involved with at the party, and allegedly Sammy had dated. We have another Nate H, I think, and then we have the Nate T. So we got 2 Nate H's, 1 Nate C, 1 Nate T, 1 Nate W, and then Sammy might have a brother named Nate. So any more Nates? Am I missing any? Oh my goodness. No wonder it's so confusing, right? So let's see. Last night I was watching a live with a channel that I'd seen before, T-Rev 757, and I think he's awesome. I want to highly recommend him. I'm not seeing a lot of channels that are going against this fire cam suggestion. I think our 22 Senses, I think Kevin Neese's, he's been killing it. CNY definitely is. Squirrel Girl is. Could we make a petition to get Upchurch on this? Come on, Upchurch. I know he just moved to a new community and into a new house, and he needed a break. he's taken 2 weeks off, but I keep up with his stuff, and it's possible that yesterday he had his Wi-Fi installed. So, I'm hoping he'll come back out. My personal opinion is that without Upchurch and without, Adventures with Purpose, they would have gotten away with this whole thing, no problemo. Even with all of us, YouTube sleuths, no, those are people in positions of power with a much higher profile and a lot of resources. So we need people like that. And I know we want to see more from AWP, and we may not until at least after November 1st or until the next update. Um, but yeah, I mean, this is just so bizarre to me, this war pitting AWP credibility against Firewatch cam that was produced by a very, very, very extremely questionable individual, in my humble opinion. So sick of the mess, so sick of the gaslighting. These people are professional gaslighters, right? We know that. And gaslighting is very effective. You basically confuse your victim and they give up. And I think that's what's been happening these last few days since the camera footage has been released. People have either been capitulating and caving into it, or just saying, forget it, I'm going on another case. And like I've said, there are very, very worthy cases out there that do need attention. However, for whatever reasons, there are those of us that are extremely compelled to stay hyper focused on Kylie. So she needs us. So it's hard for me to see my notes. It's a little dark in here. And the lighting. Fighting for peace, martial arts. Okay. I did some kickboxing a few years ago before COVID, and it was so fun. So fun. I'd wanted to do it forever. I finally did it. What I wanted to bring up martial arts for is that you are not trying to hurt anybody, right? And you're not using your strength against that person either that you're sparring with. A good martial artist that's going to win the sparring is the one who knows how to allow the opponent to use their own strength against themselves, which is what we do in a psych ops or in life. We allow jerks around us to use their own strength against themselves. And I see this happening with Jagger, who came out fighting towards AWP again yesterday, according to Harsh. And I believe Harsh. Oh, I didn't mention him, duh, in my list of people that are not buying the video. Harsh is really careful with it, but I think he's totally on track. And so my opinion of the clearing of Jagger was that was strategic for a few reasons. And one of the most important reasons was to get him to shut up, right? He was talking way too much. He was making way too many videotapes. He was making way too many posts. And they're just like, dude, calm down. Like you're the weakest link. So it's always been my opinion that he was artificially cleared, that is not real. Because how can you clear somebody from a car accident? How can you clear somebody from an event that you don't even have a date for or what the event was? So to me, that clearing was just bogus, just to give him maybe a false sense of security, or because he's special, because he's dating Kate, and Kate Cuneo's uncle is a sheriff in Sacramento County, or deputy sheriff, and her grandma's a ski hero. So, and another thing I thought of too is, why did Jagger move to Napa? He was living in the Truckee area and barely graduated from Sierra High School, and good for him that he got it together. And then he's living in Napa, and maybe his parents are divorced, or maybe his parents moved, but it also makes me scratch my head when his ex-girlfriend just happens to disappear and die. It's been my opinion from the outset that this whole scenario was not accidental and that it was not um, just incidental. It's been my opinion that it was plotted. And like I said, I don't consider myself a conspiracy theorist. Or theorist. I can't even talk. More coffee. Good morning. Mm. You back tube Jeff. Yeah, I've seen you back tube Jeff. And he does have a lot to offer. So the fighting for peace, allowing your opponent to use their own strength against themselves, and talking smack. So I think those are most of my notes for this. And my goodness, where is my time frame thing? When I looked at the 8:06, that's the time of day. So it's 26 minutes. Here we go. All right. And that's a reasonable length. Again, it's fun doing it. I love talking to you guys, and I feel like I have so much content, and then there's things that I've already covered that I want to hit home or just, readdress. So let me look over my notes here real quick. The thing about being incorporated versus unincorporated, and I mentioned that yesterday. CNY was going over that with a fine-tooth comb, and good for her. And all that stuff to me is very confusing and kind of immaterial. What I know about a community is that it's kind of its own sovereign nation. If you have your council, your police department, your city manager and mayor all on the same page, it doesn't matter what page it's on. If they're all together, it's gonna fly. And no outside jurisdiction is gonna get involved. They don't have time and they don't care. Thank you, Dodging Bullets. See you next time. Yeah, I'll be signing off in a second. We all know she was plotted and she was murdered, and probably had to do with that Nate, which watch Kevin Neese. He is right on with this bogus water thing. Yeah, I'm glad that you feel confident in that, saying that we all know she was murdered, because I feel like I know she was murdered, and that's just kind of a given to me. So the thing with the incorporation versus unincorporation is that's not even important. But what is important is to keep the trolls from getting us off course, because that is their primary focus. And it's my suspicion that they are coming out in full force from Truckee onto the interwebs, and that it's a organized effort. It's not just individuals. It's individuals working together to try to derail anybody who's on track. And so that's about it for today. The the destroying evidence, destruction of evidence, interfering, hindering an investigation, falsifying information. Hello, can all these people get arrested? Each and every one of them? Anybody who's contaminating evidence, anybody who is planting evidence or lying to authorities, fabricating stories, all of these people need to have charges pressed against them in order of the law enforcement to work, right? And to get to the bottom of this. Doug says, all of us guilty. And Go M Go says, Truckee is now under the whole world microscope. It'll stay under the microscope. And they're trying to start their ski season in a few weeks. And I don't think they deserve to. I really don't. I think hashtag boycott Truckee. People that want to ski can go over to Squaw. It's supposed to be better anyway. And then there's Heavenly, which is also supposed to be heavenly, and a few others that are just phenomenal places. I haven't been to the others. I've only been to North Star and Sugar Bowl, which just happen to be the 2 that are closest to, Donner Lake and the Lost Trail Lodge. So, anyway, on that, thanks again for joining me. Don't forget to drink your water, eat your fruits and your veggies and your protein, and relax, get your exercise in, enjoy yourself, be kind to yourself, be kind to those around you, and I will see you hopefully later today. Have a great day, and thanks again for joining me. All right, and end.